Welcome to the A-Game podcast, where I help you bring your best to be your best in all areas of life: business, relationships, career, health and wellness, anywhere you want to excel. I'm your host, Griffith, and today we're tackling one of the most important concepts for high performance. It's confidence, the key to performing at your best, whether you're an athlete, artist, executive, or entrepreneur. It's that elusive quality everyone wants more of, no matter how much you have or don't have. It's the belief that propels you forward when doubt creeps in. But where does it come from, and how can you build it? Today, we'll define confidence, explore where it comes from, and share 7 science-backed steps to develop it, with real-world examples and actionable tools you can use immediately. According to Webster's dictionary, confidence is a feeling of trust or belief in oneself or others, a sense of certainty and assurance. But true confidence isn't about being fearless or knowing everything. It's about trusting yourself to take action even when the outcome is uncertain and the stakes are high. For athletes, it's believing you can hit that game-winning shot. For executives, it could be owning the boardroom. For artists, it's sharing your work boldly. So where does confidence come from? Psychologist Albert Bandura, who coined the term self-efficacy, identified 4 key sources of confidence. Number 1, mastery experiences, which is past successes that prove your capability. 2, vicarious experiences, seeing others like you succeed. 3, verbal persuasion, encouragement from mentors or peers or coaches. 4, managing psychological states, handling stress and emotion effectively. You're not born with confidence. It's built through action, reflection, and feedback. In today's podcast, we will build off these components with several additional steps. So why does confidence matter? It drives performance, it increases motivation, and it just feels good to know you can do it. A 2022 Journal of Applied Sports Psychology meta-analysis found that higher confidence directly predicts better athletic outcomes. A 2024 Frontier in Sports and Active Living study showed that confident athletes experience less pre-competition anxiety and faster recovery afterwards. Confidence sharpens decision-making, fuels resilience, and turns potential into power. It's the number one thing the clients I work with want more of. So let's jump into the 7 steps. Number 1, master your mindset. Confidence starts in your mind. Dr. Carol Dweck's growth mindset research shows that believing your abilities can improve through effort, boost resilience, achievement, and confidence. There are 2 basic mindset beliefs on this topic. Number 1, fixed mindset. Individuals believe intelligence or talent is static. They see obstacles as insurmountable and give up more easily. This is a hard way to build confidence if you have this mindset. 2, growth mindset. Individuals believe abilities can be developed through dedication and effort. They see challenges as opportunities and failures as springboards for growth. This is an easy way to build confidence with this mindset. We live in a highlight reel in social media and Instagram, where success seems instant, but real growth is through effort, consistency, and learning from setbacks over time. Step 2, practice. Confidence is earned through preparation, which creates confidence in your craft and reinforces confidence. You have to practice whatever the craft is you want to improve. A 2023 Frontiers in Psychology study found that structured preparation enhances performance and mental toughness across all fields. Dedicated practice on a specific area of improvement is the key versus just going through the motions and not focusing or evaluating oneself. Dedicated, intentional practice, not just repetitions, is the key. So use the 3P method. Plan, so you're going to plan what you're going to do, you're going to practice it, and then you're going to perfect it. And lastly, then you need to review. Athletes can train in game conditions. Executives, you can rehearse your pitch. Artists, create daily, even if it's for 15 minutes. And so, in my work, I work with lots of different, NFL players, executives, kids, parents. And one of my clients, Kayemi Fairbairn, the kicker for the Houston Texans, this is a key component to his high-level success, is that he is meticulous about practicing his craft, and then he has a routine. The routine, he moves from practice right into the game situation. And that routine is what really drives his confidence because he's competent. He knows that this routine works. And so no matter what field you're in, having the practice, creating that routine is going to drive confidence. So here are some tools to support and grow and instill deeper confidence. So number one, I use with all my clients, including myself, visualization and rehearsal. Research suggests that short visualizations lasting 10 to 15 seconds, when repeated frequently, can be highly effective in enhancing performance. Studies in sports psychology and neuroscience show that the brief but vivid mental rehearsal activates the same neural pathways as actual physical practice. Visualization primes your brain for performance. A 2025 Frontiers in Psychology study found that guided imagery improves self-confidence and resilience. So how do you do it? It's really simple. You're going to visualize whatever the activity or craft is, and it's going to be clear, detailed, and emotionally engaged. Use all the senses, what you see, what you hear, what you feel. Repeat multiple times a day, especially before a high-stakes situation. Optimal reps for short 10 to 15 second visualization and doing 3 to 5 reps per session to really reinforce those pathways. And you can do it 2 or 3 times a day. More reps closer to performance is helpful before a speech, a game, or a high-pressure event. Athletes picturing and rehearsing their tennis serve. Executives imagining closing the contract after a pitch or meeting. Artists, the applause after a performance. Anything that you want to create, that's what you want to visualize. The key is quality over quantity. Each visualization should be vivid, controlled, and emotionally engaged. Visualization activates that same motor cortex pathways used during real performance. So for me, I use this frequently. Every one of my clients is doing this because this is where you can get more mental reps and you don't have to physically do it. So you're just creating those neural pathways in the brain. And it makes it much easier when you're in the moment. You've just rehearsed it. You can only practice physically so much. So the visualization just gives you more reps. The other thing that you can do along with this is create your personal success reel. And what I like to have my clients do is write down all the things they've been successful at and then put it in a mini movie. And you can just play that back and forth as much as you want. The next tool, which is really one of my favorites, is what we call the performance anchor or the circle of excellence. Developed by John Grinder, an NLP co-founder. This technique anchors your body and mind to a peak state. It's real simple. You recall a moment when you felt unstoppable and confident. Visually, you draw a circle on the ground. You're going to step into that circle and reimagine the experience. You're going to have that memory come up through your feet all the way to the top of your body, expanding through your entire body. And when it's at its peak, you want to think about a color or symbol that symbolizes that. You want to run through that body. So once you do that, you've anchored the color and the symbol of this confident state. So when to use? When you need confidence, you visualize the color and symbol, and you'll instantly access your best self before a competition or if you need to reset. I had a recent client, a female softball player, and in her practice, what we wanted her to do is really be present, right? Really be present. And so what she would do is visualize and use that anchor before she got in the batter's box. So she'd run that color and symbol, step into the batter's box, and now she's in her high performance state. Moving on to step 3, in the moment self-talk. In my opinion, this is one of the most crucial skills and often undertrained skills. And here's the thing, we do the prep work, we do the practice, but in the moment, if we don't have the self-talk that's going to be effective for us, things aren't going to go well. So in pressure moments, your words shape performance. A 2022 International Review of Sports and Exercise Psychology meta-analysis confirmed that effective self-talk improves focus and confidence under stress. So here's what we want to do. Ahead of time, we want to create empowering phrases and self-talk before it happens. So as an athlete, I got this, I'm prepared, let's go. An executive, I'm clear, I'm in control, I'm ready. Artists can say, I'm in my flow state, I got this. Rehearsing this visualization using your self-talk before, during, and after competition practice, when things are going well, or challenging situations happen. You got to practice so things going perfectly, and then you want to visualize things where they don't go well and you reset. And this is a tool that's effective, as I said, for all genres. Step 4, act with courage and get uncomfortable. This is probably one of the steps that people kind of resist the most, and it makes sense because, we like being comfortable. Growth doesn't happen when we're comfortable. We've got to stretch. So confidence through action, not waiting for fear to disappear, right? That's what you got to do. And you want to challenge on a regular and consistent basis yourself in practice to get out of this comfort zone. So, what can that be? That can be doing a cold plunge. I love doing cold plunges. A couple of things. It challenges me. It gets me super uncomfortable. I have clients talk to a stranger. You can't imagine how uncomfortable in today's social media world where no one's talking to you, they actually talk to a stranger. It could be getting up an hour early. It can be fasting for a day, not eating any food, things to challenge yourself. So we want to change it up and work on weaknesses. I have a young baseball player that is 15, doing great, and the biggest challenge for him is getting into the cold plunge, right? And he said, "Coach, why do you keep having me do the cold plunge?" And, he's not a kid that really has got a lot of inflammation or, needs that, but it's the mental challenge of him doing something that he doesn't want to do. So there's 3 zones of learning, and they're really simple. So if you imagine a circle with another circle and another circle in the middle. So in the middle circle, that's comfort, all right? You're not going to be uncomfortable in the comfortable. It's the same thing you've done. It's easy. The second ring is the stretch zone. And that's where you want to be most of the time. The outer ring is the overwhelm. And so we want to just gently play in that stretch to overwhelm, and that's where the growth will take. And so if you're an athlete trying to take on a new skill, an executive, pitch a daring idea. An artist, create a new style. And one of the little tools that I picked up over the years, I think it was from Mel Robbins, it's the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 tool. So you're getting ready to do something and your mind's going, you just start counting back, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you just do it. Because you have to just move and take bold actions. Step 5, emotional regulation. If you're out in the world today and you're turning on the news, you're seeing a lot of emotional dysregulation, right? As a human being, as an athlete, executive, an entrepreneur, an artist, the more we can be in our A-game zone, the more we can regulate, the higher we're going to perform. So being present, having the tools to regulate your emotions allows you to respond versus react, creating greater control of situations, which breeds more confidence and getting into the best performance that you can. It's all about controlling your nervous system. So the human body is a finely tuned performance machine guided by the automatic nervous system, which controls automatic functions like heartbeat, breathing, digestion. And the ANS has 2 key branches. One is the sympathetic nervous system, and that's the body's accelerator. Before a big race, your SNS kicks in, your heart rate rises, breathing quickens, muscles tighten, adrenaline and cortisol surge, sharpening focus and fueling in action. Then you have the PNS, which is your parasympathetic nervous system, the body's brake. After the performance, the PNS helps you recover, lowering heart rate, aiding in digestion, and initiating repair. So in my A-game system, we look at this in what we call the RPM, regulating performance mindfully. And I teach all my clients, and we have this in other episodes and tools, is that you want to think about your emotions like an RPM gauge on a car, the RPMs. And there's really 3 places. We have the understimulated, so that's like that 0 to 3,000 RPMs. Then we have the A game, say 3 to 5,000. That's your perfect performance zone. And then that 5,000 and over, that's the overstimulated, right? And we want to learn with our body where we're at. And then in our A-game program, we have tools for each one of those phases to stay in it, to get in it. And it can be visualization, it can be self-compassion, it can be any of the tools around breath work to regulate your emotions. So recently I was working with one of my clients, a high school pitcher, and he was on the mound, and just wasn't having a good time, right? And so after my follow-up session, he said, after I had a batter or two, I realized my RPMs were too high. So he was in that overstimulated zone, which is not where he wanted to be. So he took some 4, 7, 8 breaths, stepped off the mound, recentered himself. But the whole key was he had the awareness of his emotions, where they were at, so he can actually control them. And so when we're looking at, performing, it's this awareness of what is my best state and how do I have the tools. Now, how does this help confidence? Well, the more we're in our best state, the more we're going to be able to focus. We're going to be able to prepare and to practice, right? But if we're dysregulated, we're wasting time. We're wasting time. Step 6. Step 6 is one of my favorite steps. And if you've been following me and my A-Game channel, there's a whole episode on performance. So it's performance-driven self-compassion, what I have coined. And in my opinion, and for me and my clients over the last few years, this has been the greatest performance tool enhancement. I mean, research shows that self-compassion improves performance. But what is the definition of self-compassion? You hear it and people think soft skills. It's way past soft skills. The definition: being there for yourself in the face of setbacks, upsets, and perceived failures, like a good friend or coach would. This is not a soft skill. It's not letting you off the hook of what performance you had or didn't have. It's about regulating your emotions, so calming your nervous system, being 100% accountable for your results, and then taking action to perform at your best. Confidence deepens when you treat yourself with kindness. Dr. Kristen Neff's 2010 research, and she's one of the pioneers in the area, shows that self-compassion enhances resilience, motivation, self-worth, and drives more confidence, especially after failure. And if you want to get at this next level, really pay attention to this because it absolutely increases performance. So how does it help in confidence? Right. Number 1, reduces fear of failure. People high in self-compassion are less paralyzed by mistakes, allowing them to take more risks and grow. 2, it builds emotional resilience. Self-compassion buffers against self-criticism and stress, which are 2 major barriers to confidence. And 3, it creates a secure inner base. Confidence isn't arrogance. It's trusting yourself even when things go wrong. And 4, it encourages authenticity. When you're kind to yourself, you don't have to perform to prove. You just don't have to. So let's talk about some practical steps to build self-compassion. So there's 3 steps, and then I've added a 4th step to the research. So number 1 is mindfulness. So notice thoughts and emotions without judgment. So we don't want to over-attach to a situation or dissociate from it. So that's number 1. Number 2, common humanity. Recognizing setbacks are universal and a human experience. You're not different. Sometimes we have an upset and we think, oh my God, something's wrong with me. And what I call it, that's like leaving the tribe. No, it's all normal. It's completely normal. Number 3, self-kindness. Treating yourself as a friend. So, in this, when it's happening, so we teach different phrases to have our self-talk with. And it might be something like, may I be at ease, may I be at peace, may I be kind to myself. May I have the courage to, lean into the situation and learn and grow. May I be loved. May I have the courage to be my best. Those internal phrases calm the nervous system. Like I said in a previous episode, we did a deep dive into self-compassion, and that's something, if you want to go deeper, and I really invite you to check that out. And then the last step is the performance step. It's after you've calmed your nervous system down, reviewing, God, what things can I change? Can I change to improve my performance? And so, this performance-driven self-compassion, as I've said, I use across the board, executives, athletes, especially with my young athletes. It's the single thing that when I'm working with high school and college players, even NFL players, that can help them calm their nervous system and continue to go. There's such a high level of comparison today. Like I said, through social media, Instagram, the other platforms, is that, when we're looking at the other platforms, we're seeing a highlight reel of perfection. You're not seeing your friend strike out 3 times or, a pitch going bad in a meeting. You're not seeing anything that. You're seeing everything perfect. That's not how life is. So we have a disproportionate disillusionment of, cancel that. There's a disproportionate amount of this over positively perfect life, but that's not how life goes. And so, using these tools to calm yourself and be the best version you can. As I said before, my NFL kicker, he gave me a testimonial a couple years ago, and every once in a while I listen to that testimonial because one of the key things in there is hearing him talk about the self-compassion that I taught him. And, he had this phrase about, no matter what happens, to continue to be yourself, love yourself, and move forward. I think it's just one of the best testimonials I've seen, and it really, at the highest level, you're talking about a guy at the highest level is using this. And the last step now, stepping into step 7, receiving feedback effectively. Confidence is amplified when you can receive feedback without ego interference. Your ability to receive feedback and implement it is the fastest way to increase performance and confidence. And I think, once again, this is another undercoached skill that it can be a real game changer in accelerating your performance. I've interviewed thousands of athletes from juniors all the way to the highest level in the professional ranks. And to this day, no one's told me, yeah, I had a parent or a coach teach me how to receive feedback. And it's kind of funny, and this is why we're talking about it, because we've got to change this. We've got to look at feedback as something we're leaning into, we want, right? And we've got to practice how to receive it. So a couple things and tips to help with this. Number 1, separate the feedback from your self-worth and your performance. It's just feedback. It's not your identity. Don't be defensive when you're hearing it. Listen first, reflect, then respond. Ask clarifying questions. What specifically could I change? Anything that you want, but don't interrupt it while it's coming. I love this step that I've added. Say thank you. Complete the loop. So you're acknowledging the person that's giving you feedback is complete. And then apply the actionable feedback immediately. Receiving feedback fuels growth, strengthens competence, and reinforces confidence. Now, a couple of little extra things that I want to share around confidence. And the 40,000-foot view of this is all of it comes down to how present you can be. The more present you are, the higher you perform. So practicing being present in the moment. And then ultimately, confidence is for you to do what you were supposed to do in this lifetime. It's your why. It's your purpose. The saddest thing for me is to see people have these passions and desires, and they're afraid to go for it. So they have this why they're on the planet, and because they lack confidence, they're not going for it. So these 7 steps is my goal to help you. If you're executive, a student athlete, a parent, business owner, is to get aligned with what you truly want, right? And then go for it. Because the more confidence you have, the more you're going to go for it. One of the things we talked about early in the introduction is spend time watching others succeed. See what they're doing. Have that get imparted into you and see what's possible. And then lastly, I'm going to share the 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 principle. And I learned this a couple years ago. 1/3 of the time, it's going to suck. 1/3 of the time, it's going to be okay. And 1/3 of the time, it's going to be great. Just understand what third you're in. Normalizing setbacks. Without them, you will not be at your best. You have to understand that you grow through challenges. All right, it's now time for the Q&A game questions. Now it's time for a Q&A, and welcoming in my sidekick, executive producer extraordinary, Mike Smith. Welcome, Mike.
Good to be here, Stephen. As always, I've got a series of about 10 questions here for you. I'd like to start with number 1. What's the biggest mistake people make when trying to build confidence?
Yeah, the biggest mistake people are making when they're trying to build confidence is they don't really know how to do it. Like, I've asked thousands of people, from executives, student athletes, professional athletes, like, where does confidence come from? We'll get answers like past performance, doing it a long time, but there's really not a structured sequence of understanding the steps that we've covered today. And the biggest issue is they haven't trained their self-talk, right? So they do all this preparation and then they'll get in pressure situations and they haven't trained their mind to deal with the pressure. So understanding why it's important to prepare that self-talk, and then also understanding when things get challenging, how to recover. And then lastly, a lot of people play the waiting game. When I'm fully prepared, I'm going to go for it. It doesn't work that way. You've got to get in there, face the adversity, and make the adjustments.
Tell me again what self-talk is. Give me an example, if you would, of what that is.
Yeah, so you're getting ready for a big pitch. You're an executive. You're starting to walk into the room. You're in the bathroom. You're getting your coffee. And there's two kinds of self-talk. One's like, oh, shit, I hope this goes well. Not sure. God, how are they going to respond to that? That would be one style. Don't recommend it. The other style is, I got this. I'm ready. Let's go. And so it's deciding ahead of time how you're going to have your self-talk. And when I hear people say, past performance is what gives me my confidence, I said, well, what if you're a basketball player and you miss the last 3 shots? Are you going to say to yourself, oh shit, the last 3 shots I missed, should I take this? And I grew up in Chicago, Michael Jordan's example, like he's had games where he's missed 5, 6, 7 shots and finished with 45 points. Because he's not asking himself, can I do it? That's gone. He knows over time it's going to be successful. And that's what we have to build.
Excellent. All right, number 2, how can I stay present during high-pressure moments to boost my confidence?
Yeah, staying focused is, the ultra skill in today's attention economy. And staying present is a practice. You don't just wait to be in a high-pressure situation and go, how do I be present? So it's practicing breath. It's practicing meditation. It's training the brain ahead of time and then identifying if you're going off track, oh, I'm off track, being aware. Awareness is developed by meditation, mindfulness practices. So it's preparing and then being in the moment, being aware, and having a tool. Oh, I got distracted. Take a deep breath. Now I'm back. So that's the way to do it.
Excellent. Why is knowing your why important for confidence? And maybe we need to start with what is your why?
Yeah, knowing your why and why is important for confidence is, so we're on this planet for something. If you don't know why you're here, if you're just going through the world being a consumer, having the outside world tell you who you are, you're not going to be really that confident about anything. But taking the time going, why am I here? Why am I playing this sport? Why am I running this company? Why am I here as a parent? Then we get connected to that internal motivation, and now we have fuel to actually say, this matters to me. Now let me put the skills behind it. If something doesn't matter, you're not going to practice it. So you have to understand why something matters, but at the time, effort, and being uncomfortable to actually get it.
Does watching others succeed really help my own confidence? And if so, how does that work?
Yeah, it's just really great. It's actually taking you out of your own stress and your own, insecurities or lack of confidence and going, wow, someone else can do that. So seeing it kind of becomes a mirror of what's possible, right? You'll hear all kinds of stories of athletes saying, when I saw so-and-so, when I saw the Olympics, when I saw this big fight, that told me they saw something that was possible. They then internalized that and it started them on their journey.
Excellent.
Super important.
What does the 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 rule mean for building confidence?
It's really simple. I forgot who it came from, so I apologize for the originator of this. So 1/3, 1/3 is real simple. 1/3 of the time, it's going to suck. 1/3 of the time, it's going to be okay. And 1/3 of the time, it's going to be great. You just got to know what 1/3 you're in. And when you know that this is the challenging time, it changes things. You just kind of understand, gosh, this is the 1/3. Okay, I got to work through it. But if we're thinking the 1/3 is the whole time of being in everything's awesome and it's not, then we're stuck. We're asking, what's wrong? No, just part of the growth. Huh. As I said in the episode, you have these 3 circles, right? The beginning is comfort, you're comfortable. Next one is you're expanding, and then there's the overwhelm. We got to practice being in that expansive place, that learning zone. We're a little bit uncomfortable and we're a little bit overwhelmed. That's when the brain kicks in to elevate our game. But if we're just walking around, I got to have my latte. A lot of times when I teach meditation, early on. They're like, oh, there's my kids crying. There's a noise outside. I go, awesome, good. Because you got to practice in circumstances that aren't perfect. And it took me a while, like, oh, I got to have my, my space and it's got to be quiet. And then I realized I was when I started my last Vedic meditation style of meditation from my guru, Tom Knowles. It was a 90-day start, 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night. And I was on a tequila tour in Guadalajara. And I was in a car with a group of people, and I knew I got to meditate. So if I can meditate for 20 minutes while we're whizzing in and out to tequila, anyone can. But it was a great lesson for me. It didn't have to be perfect.
Are people caught up in the idea that if things aren't perfect, or if I'm not in that growth-oriented, expansive 1/3, then everything is shit?
Yeah, and that's the problem. It's like a lot of times, once again, we're especially for the younger people, but not just younger people, we're seeing this world on Instagram, right? Everything's perfect. So then I'm over here and I missed 3 shots, or the pitch went wrong, or I had an argument. And it's like, well, how come my life's not perfect? Because it's not real. And so I've got to have a lot of conversations with people when it comes to self-compassion about the reality of growth. It is not instant. You can certainly compress time. All the things in my A Game Ready program and the things we're doing is compressing time, and it still takes time.
Yeah. How do I normalize setbacks? This is a big one, I think, for a lot of people out there. Normalizing setbacks so that they don't impact or crush my confidence. Boy, that's a tough one.
So normalizing setbacks, a great question, because if you get this right, it gets real easy. So in my athletic career, baseball, basketball, football, then college football, and then amateur boxing, my belief was if something went wrong, I was wrong. Like no one ever said, hey, Steven, you know what? We're going to expand a new skill. And probably not going to go great to begin with. And you're going to struggle, and that's okay. And the struggle allows you to keep correcting, getting better. No. When I made a mistake, I thought something was wrong. Something was wrong with me. And it took me years to overcome that. And so, especially working with my young athletes, is saying, hey, failure, imperfection, bring it on. Welcome it. So it's a preset decision. I'm going to struggle. There are things I'm going to screw up, and it's normal, and I need to lean into it. If you start there, man, everything changes.
Because a setback is good because you can learn from it.
Right. So when we say setbacks, I'm going to reframe it. So it's a learning opportunity, right? So it didn't go perfect. We'll call it, didn't go perfect or made a setback. Well, it's not a setback. It's a doorway to improvement. Setback is a doorway to improvement. Now, that's if you get the learning, if you neutralize and calm your nervous system with self-compassion. That's why the self-compassion part is so important, because our sympathetic nervous system wants to kick off. I'm bad. I did something wrong. Oh my God, I let someone down. So we come in with the self-compassion, calm that nervous system down. Now I'm in a calm state, like a good friend or coach. Then we can go, okay, what do I need to learn here? What do I have to get from here? Now I can re-engage and go out and kick some butt.
Excellent. You talked earlier about the circle of excellence anchor. Can you explain that again and how we can use it?
Yeah, so the circle of excellence or the performance anchor is really simple. It's going back to a past high-level, high-confident situation. So where you were super successful, when you look at it, you go, yeah, I nailed it. And what we do then is we re-energize, we reconnect that neural connection to that past. So in the mind, we picture it, see it, hear it through our eyes, and then anchor it. We connect a color and a symbol to it. And then we can activate that emotional state in our body anytime. We can project the color symbol. Oh, I'm going to have this pitch in the board meeting. I'm projecting my color and symbol of confidence into the room. I'm running it through me. I'm going to step into the batter's box. I'm running it through me. It energizes and reinvigorates a past memory into the now.
Excellent. All right, a couple more questions. What's the best way to use visualization for everyday confidence? I think we've all heard a lot about visualization, how important it is. in your mind, what's the best way to use it for confidence?
Yeah, so short periods of time, 10 to 15 seconds. And what you're doing is looking through events, see, hear, and feeling, engaging them as much as emotions you can in the way you want it to go. So just like weight training, you're going to go in the gym, you're going to do 6 to 8 reps, and the rep here is 10 seconds or so. You can do it the night before of something. You can do it right before competition. But it's giving you mental reps and securing that neural pathway in the brain, because we can only practice so much. You can't do 1,000 of something, but you can reinstill that pathway. And then also visualizing mistakes and corrections. This is something 99% of people don't do. You have to visualize when things don't go well so you can embed how to correct it. It's not always perfect. So I do like the 80-20. 80% of the visualization is perfect. 20% there's a change, you got to adjust. And we always end up, though, with the way we want it visualization. We never leave it on the imperfection ones.
Okay. Here's a big one. Feedback. How do I take feedback without getting defensive and in order to build and grow confidence?
Yeah, it goes back to the setback question earlier. So how do you receive feedback to allow it to impact you in a positive way and move forward? It goes back to really, first of all, looking at your history of getting feedback. Gosh, did I have a good history of getting feedback in the past? Who gave me feedback? And understand if there's any blind spots around it. Maybe there's some resistance there. And then making a decision that feedback is for your ultimate good.
Even if it's negative.
Of course, because remember, it's the growth, right? And we've got to separate sometimes like the voice tone of somebody and get to the intention. Most people, we did a whole episode on this, as you remember, are not necessarily great at giving feedback. So you got to like filter out the tone, and it takes practice, and go, what's the positive intent behind this? What's the positive intent behind this? And then understanding, I'm going to get better the more feedback I get.
Even if it's presented angrily, let's say.
You got to learn. Expect half of the feedback you're going to get is going to be in some dysfunctional way. I tell people that if you are expecting somebody like me with a lot of expertise to deliver feedback to you every day, it's not going to happen. So don't be upset when it's like, well, they raise their voice, or, they're going to do that. Regulate your nervous system, pick out what's good, don't interrupt, ask for clarifying questions, thank the giver. And then last part, not all feedback's true. Then you have to decide, is this actually actionable?
So you're saying thank the giver of the feedback.
100%.
Even if it's intense, even if it's negative,
Yeah, man,
even
thanks
if it's
for
not
thinking
presented in the way you would like.
99%, I'm going to just say this from my experience, the intent of feedback has the right intention. Now, there's not a lot of people going, I'm going to give this feedback to really screw with them. There are some, don't get me wrong. Right. The majority of feedback. So then you have to go, gosh, what's their intention for me to get better? Hmm. And once again, practice getting feedback. Mentally practice it. Mentally getting bad feedback, and you got to calm your nervous system. You got to practice it.
And this is my personal favorite topic, self-compassion.
Oh, yeah, the superpower.
Why is self-compassion the hidden superpower for confidence?
Self-compassion is a hidden superpower. Very simply this. We've all had a lot of programming, depending on the history, how we've grown up, what trauma or drama we've had. Many people have parts of them that don't feel good enough. And the self-compassion comes in like a good friend or a coach, calms the nervous system down, right? And allows you to actually get feedback that's actionable. If we get triggered and we have all the self-negative talk and the sympathetic nervous system is kicked off, we're in that fight, flight, or freeze, it doesn't matter what's coming because we're already beating ourselves up. So this is the greatest neutralizer of that, calming the nervous system so when the feedback comes in, we can take action on it and be our own cheerleaders. So many people, when I talk about self-compassion, they have such a negative feeling because no one even knows what it is. You talk to somebody, they're like, oh, what's that soft thing? So what I've been able to do with the performance-driven self-compassion program is teaching them why it's effective. And by the way, if you are highly self-compassionate in my work, you are the most accountable person I know on your behavior. the most accountable. And you're going to go for it in a bigger way because you know if there's a setback, you're there for yourself. You're not going to beat yourself up. You're not going to crush yourself. You're actually going to support yourself. So you take bigger positive risks. Ultimately, you're more comfortable being uncomfortable and you grow and you perform faster.
Last question. How is confidence the key to performance?
It's the mindset that no matter what comes my way, I will either have done it or I can figure it out. See, a lot of people think confidence is knowing what to do every situation. It is not. It's saying, I believe in myself. I have these skills. Perhaps maybe I did this before. That's one side. The other side, though, which is really important, is I have the ability to figure it out. That's where people think, well, I don't know how to do it. I'm not confident. No. You have many skills that you've developed to figure things out. It's like, I'm going to work on this. I have a growth mindset. I can figure this out. That's that gap that a lot of people have. That's a wrap on today's episode. Today we broke down confidence, what it is, where it comes from, and the 7 science-backed ways to build it. As a review, master your mindset, prepare relentlessly, visualize success, practice in the moment self-talk, act with courage, cultivate self-compassion, receive feedback effectively. And remember, the hidden superpower behind all of this is self-compassion. It's what lets you recover, learn, and rise stronger every time. Try these steps this week and watch your confidence shift. Please like, subscribe, and share. And until next time, always bring your A game.